Yes, that's right, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, back with your June Global Speed Stick update video. Oh yes. The Global Speed Stick competition is a speed competition which you can take part in from anywhere in the world on any type of sailing boat. All you need to do is get out on your boat with a GPS device, whether it's some sort of tracking watch like a Garmin or with your phone running a GPS app, and then you just need to submit the results and you will get onto the Global Speed Stick leaderboard. You can see it just here. There's a new, easier way to submit your results to the Global Speed Stick leaderboard, and that is on Facebook. I've just set up a Global Speed Stick challenge group which you can join, and then you could submit your results on there easy. We're going to go through the new entries since the last update video and anybody who has notched up or improved upon their previous speed. Starting off in Galveston Bay, Texas, USA, we've got Ben and Chris sailing a Hobie wave with a speed of 11.04 knots. Great to get on the stick. Then sailing from my original home spot of Felixstowe Ferry Sailing Club on the east coast of England, we've got Simon and Henry sailing on the RS200. Henry just notching it above Libby, his sister's top speed, with a speed of 12.3 knots. Great job there, Simon and Henry. And then sailing in the Netherlands, in Zandvoort, on a Hobie 16, we've got Niels and Max with a speed of 12.4. Then on a Smart Cat Adventure, yes, an inflatable, sailing on Rutland Water in the UK with a speed of 12.64 knots. We've got Nigel. And then notching it up, we've got Levi sailing the Hobie Wave in Claremont, Florida, USA, with a speed of 13 knots. Great job there, Levi, notching it up. Yes, that's right. You can submit a speed and then improve upon it and submit your new speed at a later date. So don't feel that the speed that you put in for the speed stick has got to be your best speed of the year, just your best speed of the year to date. Okay, and then sailing in Germany on Fogensee, Bavaria, Germany, with a speed of 13.01, sailing on the Top Cat K4X. We've got Andreas, and again on Fogensee, Bavaria, Germany, sailing this time on the Top Cat Avanti. And Andreas has given up his role as skipper to crew with Alexander on the Avanti, with a speed of 13.55. Great job there, Alexander, getting on the stick. And then also in Germany on Fogensee, Bavaria, Andreas really getting amongst it there on the Top Cat K4X, again crewing this time with Matthias with a speed of 14.04 knots. That's Andreas's son, Matthias, taking the helm. Great to be out with the family. Then sailing a Top Cat F1, we have Thierry sailing in Switzerland on Lake Merton with a speed of 14.5 knots. And very cool to be out during an air show. That must have been a great place to watch the action there. And then with a speed of 14.8 knots, sailing on Lake Grapevine, Texas, USA, on the getaway, we've got James and Davis absolutely sending it. And then we're heading to Poddersdorf on Nordseesee, Austria. We have Gerhard and Gabrielle sailing the first 14 Seascape with a speed of 14.9 knots. Great job there, guys. And then with a speed of 15.5 knots, coming from Choctawhatchee Bay, Florida, USA, sailing on a Hobie 14, we've got Eric. And then heading over to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, sailing on the Nacra F16, Formula 16, F16. We have Rich and Claire absolutely smoking it with 16.1. And then we are going full Utah, Youth Edition, where we have Austin sailing with Mia and Avery on the Hobie 18, not the Magnum this time. The wings are off for this. The youngest sailors on the speed stick, Mia being 9 and Avery just 3 years old, with a speed of 16.2 knots. Great job there, guys. And then back to Poddersdorf on Nordsee, Austria. We've got Joseph sailing an A-class lowrider with a speed of 16.4 knots. And then the first speed in from Texel in the Netherlands. On a Hobie 16, we've got Niels and Menno getting a top speed during the race of 16.5 knots. Great job there. Coming in from Vasiliki, Lefkas, Greece, yes, right here, we've got Hussein sailing with myself as crew on a Hobie 16 with a speed of 16.5 knots. Great job there, Hussein. Great to have you out here. And then just in, I think one of our first entries from Finland, from the Turku archipelago, Eristo, during a big camping expedition, looks absolutely amazing. With a speed of 16.8 knots, we have Teru sailing a Hobie Tiger, single-handed. Coming out of Alicante in Spain, on the Top Cat K2, lot of Top Cats in this update. We've got Juanan with Belinda and Carl, 3 up with a speed of 17.8 knots. Why do I keep looking down? Because I've got my list that I'm reading from. Okay, and then we're back to Texel just 2 weeks ago. We have Jeroen and Jan Peter sailing a Hobie 16 with a speed of 17.8 knots. And then, by far the fastest young skipper on the speed stick at just 12 years old, we have Ben sailing with Chris on the F-18 Nacra Infusion out of Galveston Bay, Texas, USA, with a speed of 17.81. Great job, Ben. Always good to have you notching it up. Vasiliki Bay, yes, more from Vasiliki Bay. We've got Alex sailing with Arthur on a Hobie Pacific. That's an 18-footer with a speed of 17.82. And then sailing a Hobie 17, new acquisition for Bobby Bruce in Pennsylvania, USA, with a speed of 17.88. Hobie 17, great job there, Bobby. And then sailing right here on a Hobie Tiger, we've got Bernhard and Bridget from Austria with a speed of 17.9 knots. And then, yes, we're back to Texel. A lot of entries from the Round Texel race this year because I was advertising the speed stick down there. But this time, sailing a Nacra 450 Mark II. Yes, it was me, fastest speed on the race course, 17.9 knots. What a great experience that was on a great user-friendly boat. By the way, the review video is coming soon. All right, and then on a Hobie 16 this time, right here for Alex and Arthur, during the famous Round the Rock race, speed 17.93 knots. And then in Travemünde, on the north coast of Germany, sailing a Nacra Infusion Mark II, we've got Sebastian and Jochen with a speed of 17.98. Very nice. With a combined age of 138 years old, sailing on the Harlow Blackwater Sailing Club, Essex, UK, on a Dart 18, we've got Julian and John. Then notching it up for Chris, sailing solo on the Hobie 16 on Phillips Lake, Maine, USA, with a speed of 18 knots. Great job there, Chris. Then we've got one of Wildwind's favourite instructors, Matthew, sailing with Alex on a Hobie 16 right here, Vasiliki Bay, with a speed of 18.6 knots. Then sailing out of Somers Yacht Club, Melbourne, Australia, on a Hobie 14 Turbo, and watch him fly. We have got Peter with a speed of 18.7 knots. Great job there, Peter. And then also sailing in Australia on Swan River, Perth, Western Australia this time, with a Hobie 14 Turbo. Again, we've got Tim with a speed of 18.7. All the 18.7s on the Hobie 14 Turbos in Australia, so it seems. And then sailing out of Zergsy Reservoir, Warsaw, Poland, with a speed of 18.9 knots on a Hobie Tiger was Oscar with his crew, single trapezing, and this run did end with quite a sizable pitch pole. Sometimes you've got to break a few eggs if you want to make an omelette. Great job there. All right, and then we're back in Pymatuning, Pennsylvania, USA, this time solo on the Hobie 16. Yes, we've got Bobby Bruce, possibly the tallest sailor on the speed stick, with a speed of 18.96, and that was solo, no trapeze. What's your solo, no trapeze highest speed? Put it in the comments. Coming out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, USA, the venue for the Hobie 16 International Championships later this year, sailing a Nacra Infusion Mark III FCS full foiling. We have Kai and John absolutely smashing it in with 19 knots. I believe she's got more to give. And then we've got Ryan and Peter sailing a Hobie 16 out of Torquay, Victoria, Australia, with a speed of 19.44. Great job there, guys. And then we're back to Vasiliki Bay, another big speed coming in from the famous Round the Rock race for Hans and Juljan on a Hobie Tiger, speed 19.7 knots. Great job there, guys. And then we're heading back to Galveston, Texas, USA, for the Cinco de Mayo Regatta, where Chris and Amy notched it up on the Nacra Infusion with a speed of 19.73 knots. Great job there, guys. Okay, and then we're hitting Poddersdorf again, Nordsee, Austria. Two big speeds from there. First one, Marcus and Danny sailing the F16 Viper from Goodall Designs with speed 19.8 knots. And then the next one, also from Nordsee, Austria, we have Michael and Arthur sailing a Hobie 16 with a speed of 19.9 knots. Yes, small differences can make a big difference on the leaderboard. Moederzand, Netherlands, C2 F18. We've got Leon and Ludwig, who were kind enough to give me lots of inside information on how to best sail the Round Texel race 2 weeks ago, with a speed of 20 knots on the nose. Okay, and then from the Texel race in the Netherlands, Koen and Josie sailing the Nacra into 20 with a speed of 20.1 knots. And then with a speed of 20.3 knots, sailing on Wallace Lake, New South Wales, Australia, on the Hobie 14, we've got Michael. And then back to Utah, the Rockport Reservoir, we've got Zach, the original caveman, sailing solo on the Hobie 16 with a speed of 20.32 knots. And then with a speed of 20.4 knots, sailing right here on the Hobie Tiger. It was actually me sailing with Jeremy during a coaching week that I did a little while ago. And then we're going to Laguna Madre, Texas, USA, with a speed of 20.73 knots. And this time it's for Justin, sailing solo on the Hobie 16. You can see plenty of action from Justin on the new Joyrider Worldwide YouTube channel. Check it out just here. We've got Justin this time sailing with Danelle on a Hobie 16, this time from Texas City Dyke, Texas, USA, with a speed of 20.86 knots. Great job there, Justin and Danelle. And then we're heading back to Texel in the Netherlands on the Nacra Infusion Mark II. We've got John and Wouter with a speed of 21 knots, which is absolutely cooking the goose under racing conditions. But that is one of the beauties of the long distance races, is you have more variety of different courses you can sail, so you can really unleash the fury on that bad boy. Keeping it in the Netherlands, we've got Johan and Karina sailing a Hobie Wildcat F18 with a speed of 21.2 knots. Oh yeah, we are cooking some goose here in Vasiliki Bay, possibly one of the easiest places to sail fast on the planet. On a Hobie 16, we've got Flav sailing with Holly with a speed of 21.3, and then sailing with a speed of 21.4 knots on a Hobie 16, we've got Mr. Goose himself sailing with Flav. And then sailing solo on a Hobie 16, one of Wildwind's new instructors this year, we've got Liam, who is sailing at a speed of 21.4 knots. And I'm sure we are going to be seeing bigger speeds from Liam very soon on the speed stick. And then sailing in Germany in the Bay of Lübeck on an F18 Shockwave, we've got Alex and Felix notching it up during the Baltic Sea raid event. Great job there, guys. Another big speed from another long distance race. And then again, possibly even sailing in the same event on the Bay of Lübeck, Germany, sailing the F18 C2. We've got Oliver sailing with Thomas with a speed of 22.99. With a speed of 22.4 knots. Okay, and now we're heading to Switzerland on Lake Thun with a speed of 24.1 knots. We've got Jan Leo sailing the Foiling Wasp. Oh yes, very nice. And this is a notch up for Kevin and David sailing the Nacra F20 Carbon FCS during the Round Texel race 2 weeks ago with a speed of 25.5 knots. Yes, really cranking it there. And then no change in, and then still the fastest solo Hobie 16 of all time, Stephen Ned Kelly sailing a Hobie 16 solo of all time on Lake Weber, Queensland, Australia, flying the flag for Queensland and for Lake Weber with a speed of 25.8 knots. A lot of practice, training, tuning, tweaking, preparation have gone into that speed. So I really tip my hat to Stephen there for banging it in that hard. And then in second place, new in, we've got sailing on Lake Balaton, Hungary, his fastest ever speed, 30.3 knots for Peter, sailing a foiling A-class. Wow, amazing. That must feel like something else sailing that quick. But still, leading the charge, again on a foiling A-class, sailing out of Lake Kutharaba, Queensland, Australia, with a speed of 33.8 knots. We've got Mason absolutely sending it as hard as you can. Amazing to have such control at that speed. Must take a lot of practice. Well done, Mason, and well done to everybody else on the speed stick, and thanks to everybody for getting involved. Like I said, there is a new way to get involved. Join the Facebook Global Speed Stick Challenge group and you can submit your speeds there. If you can include a picture or a video clip on there, that just makes it a little bit more spicy for the next update video. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon with some more from Vasiliki Lefka's Crease on Joyrider TV.